Right.
Welcome back to my live, guys. Welcome to everybody looking in on Facebook, and also welcome to you on Instagram. Today's dinner is inspired by French cuisine, and we're inspired by the Lobster Thermador. So that's a French dish. All it is lobster that is cooked using the sauteing method, and it is usually deglazed with brandy, and then it is finished with a cream sauce that is usually thickened by eggs. However, of course, you know, I have to put a little Jamaican twist. And so, to celebrate the bounty of the lobster season, we are making Lobster Thermador mac and cheese, and we're going to be making some flatbread as well. And also, for dessert, we're inspired by the French dessert Creme Brulee, and so today we are making a cream cheese creme brulee for dessert. So guys, thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you for those of you who are looking in on Instagram. Welcome. And if this is your first time passing by, I just want to take the time out to welcome you, and also welcome to those who are looking in on Facebook. So let's jump right into it. These are the ingredients I have for my cream cheese creme brulee. So creme means cream, and brulee means to burn or to brown. I'm going to show you how that is done. For those of you who have been watching the live, you would have seen me make a creme brulee here before, but today we're changing it up a little bit. So in here I have approximately 2 ounces of cream cheese. I took my cream cheese out and I allowed it to come to room temperature. I have 6 ounces of milk, 3 eggs, and for my Jamaican flavor, I am adding ginger. Did you know that ginger and cream makes a beautiful pairing? Yes, it does. So we're adding ginger as our little out-of-the-box flavor, and of course, we have 3 eggs. So let me tell you what this is really. It's a custard. The protein in the egg is going to hold all of this together. So I already measure everything out, so in goes. You know how I like to bake using the blender. It makes everything so much faster. So cream, ginger, eggs, whole eggs by the way, and our cream cheese, every single thing is going to go.
Cheryl Jenkins, hi.
Hi Cheryl. It's going to go into my blender. I am going to add a little bit of brown sugar for sweet, and by a little bit I mean 2 tablespoons, and I'm also going to be adding 2 tablespoons of flour. This is unconventional in a custard of this magnitude, but again, this is a cream cheese creme brulee, so this is part cheesecake and part custard. Yes, and it's going to be set up a lot softer than a cheesecake would, but it's going to be delicious. So one other ingredient, I'm going to add some lime. So these limes are tiny, so I'm just going to use the juice of a lime and just squeeze it in.
Trini says good evening.
Hey Trini, welcome. So guys, I'm going to go over to my blender and just give this a little mix around, and then we're going to come back and put them into our grease ramekin. So come with me to the blender. So just like that. Alright, so let's give it a little test to make sure everything is nice and smooth. And it looks that way, so we're good to go. So again, we are making a cream cheese creme brulee. Creme means cream, and brulee means to burn or to brown, usually on top. So this is inspired by cheesecake and of course a creme brulee at the same time. So we're putting it together. These are our ramekins. I already went ahead and greased them. So in our ramekin, we are going to pour our lovely custard. So I'm going to fill it all the way up. And these are going to bake at 325.
Shana K. Smarter. Hello, good evening, Chef.
Hey Shauna K, welcome. Alright, so these are nice and full. Guess what, guys? I forget to preheat my oven. You know what that is going to cause? A little delay. So my oven, totally forget to preheat the oven. Alright, anyhow, we are going to push along. So we have our custard in here. And whenever you're making custard, you want to make it in a water bath. So I have some hot water ready. So what I'm going to do, and when I go over to the oven, is when I'm going to pour the water, the hot water, inside the baking pan. The hot water or the water helps to smother the heat, and it allows your custard to just bake gently and set up nicely. So I am going to...
Judy and Riley. Hey, Diva Chef.
Hey Judy, so I'm going to just pour my hot water into a little container, and I'm just waiting to go over to the stove. So let's go. Alright, so you just pull the rack out, put your container with your custard in, and then you put your hot water or your warm water or your tap water into something that you can manage, and then you just pour it in. So we're going to pour the water in until it comes halfway up the custard container. And my oven is at 325, and we're going to let that bake. Who's going to do the time for me? We're going to let this bake for 15 minutes, and then we're going to check it and see where it is at. So 15 minutes.
My person's catering. Good evening, Chef and family.
Good evening. Welcome, 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 welcome. Alright, I don't want to mess up with the time, so I have my oven. I have it on 20 minutes because we didn't get enough time to preheat the oven, so I'm going to give it a 5-minute head start. Alright, so we want to clean up. So guys, if you look here, I have a dough. This is a regular, what we would call a lean dough. This was made using olive oil, flour, water, yeast, and a little bit of sugar. That's it. So what we're trying to do is just make some bread to go with our beautiful Lobster Thermador mac and cheese. So let me just pull my stove in the middle. So what I'm doing now, I'm going to make a cream sauce for our lobster. So come with me. We have some stuff. I have some red onions. I have some red bell peppers. This is my addition. This is my functional garnish. I have some dried shrimp to add some umami to the dish, some thyme and a little bit of cayenne pepper, and I have some rum. This is my Jamaican aspect to the dish. Usually we will deglaze with brandy or white wine, but I'm going to deglaze with rum tonight. Alright guys, so in this pot, I'm adding about a tablespoon of oil, and I'm adding a tablespoon of butter. Alright, so I add the oil because I know my pot has been on, and I want the oil to lower the temperature so that the butter does not burn. Okay, so in here I am going to add a tablespoon of flour. I want to make a light cream sauce. The purpose of the flour is to thicken up our sauce, and I'm also adding half of a small red onion, and I'm just going to let all of that cook. You just want to stir it around and just let it saute until you start to smell it. Then I'm adding some dried thyme. So remember now, when you put flavor in, you want to get flavor out. So this is a French dish originally, so I don't want to change the ingredients too much. So they would have used some shallots, which is very similar to red onion, it's just smaller. So I didn't have any shallots, so I'm using some red onion. Thyme is used a lot in French cooking, so I'm using thyme, and I'm using just a little bit of garlic. I have some roasted garlic, and I'm going to be adding that garlic soon. Alright, so let's add some. In France they will be using cream, but I don't have any cream tonight, so I'm using 8 ounces of whole milk. Alright, I'm just judging it right now. Alright, that's about good enough. So let's see where that takes us. And I'm just going to stir this until it's thick enough to coat the back of the spoon. And I have the garlic to add in it. The garlic is already cooked. I usually roast garlic and put it in olive oil and keep it in my fridge. So I'm just going to add the garlic a little bit later on. So guys, tell me where you're watching from. If you are new to our live, welcome, welcome, welcome. So for the roasted garlic, this is my roasted garlic. So let me tell you, you can roast the garlic in the oven. When I'm roasting my garlic in the oven, all I do is cut the whole head of garlic in two to expose the cloves, and then I drizzle it with some olive oil, wrap it in foil, and just let it roast until they're nice and soft. And then after that, I squeeze the garlic cloves out and keep them in a jar in my fridge in some olive oil, and that just makes my life so much easier. Alright, so our sauce has come to a boil. Now I'm going to season it. This is my addition. This is dried shrimp. This is the same little pepper shrimp that we would snack on in Jamaica. Remember, again, whenever I'm inspired to cook from another culture, I always try to add my Jamaican ingredients, and these are my Jamaican ingredients. So this is Jamaican pepper shrimp, the dried variety that is sold locally in our gas station or at the checkout counter in the supermarket. So that's what that is, and it's going to turn everything orange. Look at that. Alright, so this is our sauce. I'm going to give it a taste, see what it's tasting like. The pepper shrimp tend to be a little bit salty and peppery. Alright, so this is our sauce. It's ready. I'm just going to put it off to the side. And now, put the big pot up, and we are going to saute our lobster. Alright, so I just want to clean up as I go along as usual. So guys, let's recap. We have our cream cheese creme brulee in the oven, and that's going to be our dessert. You'll see what the brulee part of it looks like later on. We just made our cream sauce for our Lobster Thermador. It has loads of dried thyme in it because that's the flavor I wanted. And then for our Jamaican ingredient, we added some dried pepper shrimp. This is why it has that orange color. We added some roasted garlic, and we also added some red onion for extra flavor. And our sauce is thickened with a little bit of flour. So this is what that is.
Zane watching from Jamaica.
Hi Zane, welcome. So in this pot, guys, we are going to saute our lobster meat. Let me see all the lobster lovers. Lobster is in season, guys. And let me tell you a secret. When the lobster is in season, it is way cheaper to buy lobster than to buy shrimp, especially if you buy the lobster from your favorite fisher person or fisher folk, or we say fishmonger in culinary. Once you buy the lobster on the seaside, you'll get a good deal. So 1 tablespoon of butter goes in.
Impressive 85 says hi, Chef and family.
Hi, Impressive 85.
Marlon Morgan is asking, could we salt the shrimp in water to get rid of some of the salt in it?
Oh, definitely. But it's not that salty, Marlon. I find that when you soak it, you get rid of, in my case, I wouldn't soak it because it get rid of the flavor that I want from it. But if you are serious about watching your salt intake, you definitely can soak it
Mel
and
always
just pot it dry.
Mel says I prepared lobster for dinner today.
Hey, way to go, Mel. So guys, whenever things are in season, they're way more affordable. So whenever they're in season, you try to get them, especially when they're local. So we have some beautiful local spiny lobsters. Our lobsters are not like the American variety. They're spiny lobsters. They're a different variety. The meat is absolutely delicious. And when they're in season, you can get a really good deal on the lobster. So this is lobster meat, so I pull it out of the shell. So this was once 3 lobsters, and now this is what it looks like. And these were some pretty big lobsters. So guys, let me show you. So this is it. So this is my lobster meat. That white stuff on it is flour. So I added 2 teaspoons of flour. And the purpose of the flour is that during the sauteing process, you know, my pot don't get filled up with lobster juice. I want it to get a nice saute and to get a nice little color on it. So this is my little trick. I add a little bit of flour, and so what the flour does, it helps to thicken up the juices during the cooking process. All right, and all I did was to season this with some salt and just a little bit of white pepper, nothing else. I want to make sure my pot is nice and hot, which it is. So look at this, guys. You hear that sizzle? So in goes our lobster meat.
Nadmore says hi, Chef. This is Nadia from New Jersey. Chef, you're looking
Nadia.
lovely as usual.
Welcome, Nadia. Oh, this one has a piece of string. Let me just take it out. All right, so.
Nicolette Samuels, good evening.
Hi, Nicolette. Welcome. All right, guys. So I'm using a, what's this? An induction cooktop. So this is going to go a little bit slower. So I'm just going to leave my lobster so that it can sear on one side, and then I'm going to turn it over. So while we wait for some color, some searing, and by the way, searing means to brown, it means to set the color. So we're not looking for a deep brown color, just a light side, kind of like a golden brown color. So I'm going to push this off to the side, and then we're going to start shaping our bread for our flatbread. So again, when you're cooking, you have to learn to multitask to get it done.
Owen Sylvester says, Chef, I'm check in. Leave mine, please, and thanks.
Hey Sylvester, thank you for checking in. Alright guys, so this is our bread dough, and this is the pan. We're going to put it in. I want to grease our pan. The pan is a little bit warm because it was over the stove. So I just want to grease the paper so that our bread don't get stuck. All right, so that is done. And then this is going to go over here. All right. All right, so to the middle, I'm bringing our bread. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to keep them nice and free form, just like this. All right. So we're gonna flatten our bread, flatten them out, just like that. And then we're gonna put them on our tray like that. Very simple. All right, so 1 down, 3 to go. And so baking bread is very, very interesting because when you're making bread, you use yeast. And so yeast is one of those living microorganisms that gives bread its fabulous texture if you understand it and if you use it right. There are 3 types of yeast in the bake shop. We have instant yeast, we have active dry yeast, and we have fresh yeast. The one that I'm using tonight is active dry yeast. What that means is that when you're using active dry yeast, you need to dissolve it into water to activate it. All right? So after you do that and you mix up your dough, you have to let your dough go through some steps. And the first step after mixing is called fermentation. That is when you mix the dough up and you leave it to double in size. So it means that the yeast is alive and well and active and is doing what it needs to do. So that process usually takes an hour. So I made this bread up ahead of time. And then we come down to what we call proofing. And this is what this is. So after you shape the bread in whatever shape you like, you put it on your pan and you let it proof. So let's go back to our lobster. So look at that nice little brown color. This is what I want to see. All right, so I'm just gonna start moving it around in the pot. So even though I desire that brown color, I also have to be mindful that lobster cooks very quickly and it also overcooks even quicker. So you have to think about that whenever you're making any seafood. Overcooked seafood tend to be rubbery. Okay, so you want to be cognizant of how long you keep your seafood cooking for.
Marlon, Morgan asking, the water has to be warm to activate the yeast, right?
In most cases, yes. For faster activation, the water should be warm. However, it is so hot in Jamaica, I literally just used the water from my pipe this evening to activate my yeast, and it did a fabulous job that way. Okay guys, so this is my lobster meat. I'm going to season it now with a little salt. And then I am going to add just a little bit of salt. I'm going to be adding my garnish. So I had quite a bit of red bell peppers in my fridge, so I wanted to use it up. So red bell peppers are not traditionally part of the Thermador, but this is my addition, so I'm adding it in. So I add my red bell peppers in, and we're just gonna give it a little saute, a little spin around, okay? And then usually at this point we would deglaze with brandy or white wine, but what I'm going to be deglazing with tonight is rum. All right, so again, this is my addition, and don't worry, I won't have a fire on my hand because I'm using an induction cooker, so there's no flame. So guys, I wish you could smell this. As soon as the rum hits this, it just gives off a beautiful aroma, the rum against the natural sweetness of the pepper and the aroma of the lobster all mixed together. It smells amazing. So guys, I encourage you to cook with some rum now. Rum is good for drinking and it is good for cooking. So at this point, and all I added was only 2 tablespoons. Rum is strong. You can add as much as you like. You could also use a good bear, a good red stripe bear if you wish to deglaze this, but I'm using rum. So I want the alcohol to cook off, and because this is not a flammable stove, you just have to, you won't see a fire ignite. So I'm cooking this off so that the flavor of the rum, and you know, by the way, rum is made from sugar cane, right? So when the rum, the alcohol in the rum cooks off, you have this sweet, almost sugar cane smell against the lobster in here. So everything is coming together. So at this point is where I am going to add our sauce that we made earlier. Alright, so yeah, I don't want anybody to come at me and say, oh, lobster thermador is usually white. Yes, you are correct, but I added my Jamaican flavors to my lobster thermador. I added the dried pepper shrimp, so my sauce took on that orange color. And in this case, I'm using the dried pepper shrimp as a seasoning, okay? Because it is dried, it has a beautiful, beautiful umami aroma. So I'm going to scrape all my sauce into my pot. Let me just get my spatula and get all of that good sauce into the pot.
Mel says I'm sorry I'm smelling it. I swear I'm smelling it.
I'm with you, Mel. So if you love seafood and you love cream, you would like this sauce. Okay, so this is my take on lobster thermador. And so in the classic sense, when you make a lobster thermador, you blanch the shell and you pack the cooked thermador, which is the lobster meat, in the cream sauce. You put it back in the shell, and then we would top that with some breadcrumb and then put it under the salamando. But guess what, guys? I throw away all the lobster shells. So this is going to get packed in a cast iron skillet. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is what we're going to be baking our lobster thermador mac and cheese in. I've gone ahead and greased it. And this is my macaroni.
Trini says oven time.
Oh, thank you, Trini. The timer is on it. I actually had set it to 5 minutes more because I didn't get to preheat it. So guys, I have my pasta ready. So this is what we're going to do. I need an egg. So I'm going to break an egg. And then I'm going to add some cream. Ashia, reach that cream for me, please. Yes, milk. So I'm going to whisk, I hope you can see. I am going to whisk up my egg with a little bit of milk. In classic thermador, they always add egg. The egg helps to keep the filling together when you put it back into the lobster shell. And so this egg tonight is just going to keep my macaroni together. So I like to whisk it, and I think we're good. All right, so here goes. So let me turn this off. Don't want to overcook it. And the elbows are gonna go right into the party. Now in this house we like equal part lobster.
Why the elbow macaroni?
We do elbow because it's a mac and cheese we're doing with the Thermador, and we feel that the elbow size is just perfect. So I wouldn't personally use a penny for this. Penny is too big and robust. I would use a shell or elbow because it's similar size to the lobster meat. Maybe we can get just a little bit more in here. All right, and then we have some cheese. So we're gonna put, and traditionally it's Gruyere cheese that they would use, but I'm using 3 cheeses tonight. I'm using provolone, cheddar, and mozzarella. All right. So we put some cheese directly into the party. So the mozzarella is going to give it its nice stretchy vibe. The provolone is nice and creamy, and of course the cheddar is nice and big and bold, you know, in your face. And so I'm going to be putting my egg right in because this is going to go into the oven, so fret not. That egg is going to get cooked. Just mix it up. All right, so time for us to put it into our cast iron. But before we do that, my oven just went off. So let's
Morgan, I think both time macaroni will work well also.
Yes, definitely. If you like farfalle, definitely work. Oh, so we're right on the money with our custard. I should show you what it looks like, guys. Let me get the mac and cheese in. Okay, so let's just set up. Get ready to pour. So again, this is grease. I'm gonna add some cheese.
Creative Dishes says, what time can I come for dinner?
So I'm gonna add some cheese to the bottom, and here what we're gonna do, we're going to pour half of it into this skillet. All right, and half in a smaller skillet, and this is going to be our 1-pot dinner. And this is something that I like to do. Let me show you guys what I do. I actually put the bread over the pasta. All right, so we put the bread right over the pasta just like that, and just let the bread bake right on top. But before that, we give it just a little brush, and this is just with a little bit of milk, really, to give it some sheen. Let me get some more milk.
Colette Walker, blessed good night, family.
Hey Colette, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Zane says, I will break the curfew to sample this meal.
Don't break the curfew, Zane. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna put this off to the side and allow our bread to proof up a little bit more, and then we're gonna put it into the oven, and it's going to take about 12 to 15 minutes into the oven. So let's do another one. So we have a smaller skillet. I'm gonna grease this one.
Monique says, I need to try this.
Yes, you can do this, guys, with whatever meat you like. We're just celebrating lobster because lobster is in season and it's affordable. So why not treat yourself to some lobster? Okay, so we're doing 2 And so our mac and cheese is inspired by the Lobster Thermador. I added some of my Jamaican flavor to it without, you know, without changing it too much, and while still respecting the Thermador. So again, a Lobster Thermador is sauteed lobster that is finished with cream. Well, it is first deglazed and then deglazed usually with white wine or brandy, and it is finished with cream and eggs. Okay, and then Gruyere cheese is added, and then it's usually stuffed back into the shell of the lobster, topped with buttered breadcrumbs sometimes, and then broil.
Mel says you didn't put cheese in the bottom.
Oh, Mel, I totally forget. So I'm gonna put it on top. It happens.
Carrie and Hardy, looking great.
Hey, Carrie. All right, so we put some cheese on top. Thanks for that, Mel. And so this one is going to cover it even more because this is kind of like the exact size. And then I'm gonna cut a nice hole in the center. Wait, where is that? Scissors. Oh. So I'm gonna use my kitchen shear and just give it a little bit of design, just like so, all the way around. And then I come back in and start another circle all the way around, turn and cut. All right. And then a nice big one in the middle just to let the steam out. All right, we will put a little milk, and the trick is, you know what guys, my husband is saying make the other one bigger. Make the other one bigger, so I'm going to make the other one bigger as well.
Zane says, Chef, will you put up the recipe for the sauce?
I definitely will. I have some extra lobster, so I'll do a tutorial on how to make the bread and how to make the Lobster Thermador. Alright, so my task is to make this bigger. The good thing with yeast bread, you can stretch it. So I'm stretching it. Make it a little bit bigger, just like that. Alright, that's the best I can do. And then
Claudette Lynch, High Diamond Shaft.
Catherine says, I wish I lived close by.
I'm a chef or diva chef. You wish you lived close by, Catherine? Alright, so
Zane says, thank you.
you're welcome. Alright, so those are hanging out, getting nice and happy. Don't rush the process. You need to allow the bread to proof a little bit for best result. So I'm just going to do these extra breads. Clean up here.
Stony says, ooh la la.
Ooh la la, indeed. Ooh la la. Alright, so I'm just gonna roll these in a nice little oval shape.
Chef Tingle says, hello, Miss Walker Barrett. How are you?
Hey, Chef Tingle. I'm doing fine. How are you? Problem is my pan is not big enough. Just gonna squeeze them in just like that. Let those ferment. Clean up. So guys, let me know where you're watching from. Put this milk back into the fridge as here. Hold on. Let me just brush these.
Claudette Lynch, I didn't fade diva. I spent diamond. She's like a diamond.
Oh, thank you, Claudette. Alright, so I'm just brushing this just with a little bit of milk just to give it a nice sheen when it's baked. Could have
Mel
brushed it
is
with
watching
some
from
egg
Spanish
wash.
Town.
Hi Mel, welcome. So, ooh la la. Who said ooh la la? These are our cream cheese creme brulee. They're nice and firm. I'm gonna take them out of the water. How fast was that? I have some leftover custard and I'm gonna bake that off camera. Let me just get rid of the tray. All right, so here comes the brulee part. I'm gonna put my mac and cheese in. All right.
Owen Sylvester is watching from Spanish Town.
Welcome, Owen Sylvester from Spanish Town.
Licia is watching from Maypen.
Who is that?
Licia.
Hi, Lucia from Maypen. Thank you for joining.
Melly asks, what are you going to make with the other two doughs?
Oh, I'm just gonna bake them just like that, and we're just going to have it with our creme brulee mac and cheese, just extra bread.
Chef Tingle says, I am very good actually. I'm watching from Mona Heights.
Okay guys, so the blowtorch is out.
Chelsea is watching from Mandeville.
Hey Chelsea, always checking in. Thank you so much for checking in. Mandeville. All right, so this is our cream cheese creme brulee. So cream cheese is a part of our creme, which is cream. So it's cream, or in my case, milk, cream cheese, egg. That sets everything together. Ginger was our spice of choice tonight. We added a little bit of salt and we added a little bit of sugar, and 20 minutes later our dessert is ready. So for the brulee part, we're going to put some sugar on. So we put some sugar on top.
Capricorn Boy says, Cole watching from outside the gate waiting for mine.
You're not at my gate, Cole, because I don't hear Herbie trying to eat you alive.
Bless Chelsea says, you're welcome, Chef.
Okay, so I have some nice white sugar here.
Impressive 85 says, I am in Virginia waiting on my personal invitation to come and visit, Chef.
Okay. All right. Who is that?
Impressive 85.
Oh, geez. Right. Impressive 85 is always looking on to. I haven't forgotten, guys. We're going to have a link up as soon as things settle down. I was hoping to do it this August, but with all the craziness. So, guys, I literally added about 2 teaspoons, the most of sugar. And this is the brulee part. So this is my little blowtorch. I am going to ask my husband to turn it on. And we are going to brulee away. So you see that? What's happening is that the fire is caramelizing the sugar on top. And this is the brulee aspect of our dessert. Alright? So you guys on Facebook, I hope you can see. So you really need a blowtorch for this if you want this effect. So what happens is that white sugar caramelizes easily because it doesn't have any molasses in it. So white sugar does a better job in giving you that crispy, caramelized, crackling vibe you're looking for. And what is happening happening, guys. The brulee on top, it forms a nice hard crack, and then you just crack through this and just enjoy. Look at that. All right, so dessert is ready. Feast your eyes on our cream cheese creme brulee dessert, and our lobster thermador mac and cheese is baking nicely in the oven. We have one out here proofing. What we did, we put the bread on top. We have some extra bread that we're going to be baking and eating, and dinner is coming together nicely.
Colette Walker, yes, we can see.
Kadira watching from the cool hills of Mount James.
Welcome, Mount James peeps who are watching. Welcome.
Tiff says, ooh. Tammy Cakes and More says, never had custard with cream cheese, must be good, save me one.
Hey, Tammy.
Marlon Morgan, where do we get that blue touch to buy?
Oh, you can buy this on Amazon, my dear. Amazon is, you know, where I go to buy whatever. It's easy to find whatever you need right there. So guys, for those of you who are new, I want to tell you about my YouTube channel. It's called Nextinfood. Alright, so let us talk about our YouTube channel. So thanks to you guys, we are monetized, and so I want to encourage you to like, share, leave a comment, watch the videos. Remember to share, like, leave a comment in whatever order. So we thank you so much for being such loyal fan to our YouTube channel Nextinfood. And so for those of you who have not yet subscribed, go over there and subscribe, like and share, and leave a comment. Okay, so guys, we create all of these content for you, so the least you can do is to subscribe, like and share. Tell a friend about our YouTube channel. Note I said our because this would not have been possible without you. So for those of you who are new, this is your formal introduction. We have a YouTube channel. It is called Nextinfood. That's where we will post the live, and we will post tutorial of dishes that I like to make for my family, or my favorite Jamaican comfort food, or a dish that I just want to simplify for you. So don't forget, if you're watching now and you have not yet subscribed, go over there and subscribe, leave a comment, and also like and share.
Zane says 5-star dinner. Chef Tingle says, can you invite me to one of your Sunday dinner cook-up?
Alright, Chef Tingle, I'll think about it. I will conversate with the family and get back to you.
Janet Beckford, great evening, chef and your family.
Pass me a plate says, I tried the pepper shrimp mac and cheese from the YouTube channel. It was excellent.
Thank you.
Kadira says, I need to get my hair in some shiny bantu knots.
Girl, every time you see me with my bantu knots is always when you want shiny bumps. No problem. Auntie Kenisha will hook you up with some shiny bumps.
Kenisha Walker, watching from your living room, can't wait to have my dinner.
Okay, sis, your dinner is coming up shortly.
B says
your mac and cheese is actually in the oven, so you'll get your dinner shortly.
Pat Paris, good evening, sis.
Hey Pat, good evening.
B says, I love your outfits and the shiny bum.
Thank you.
Zane says, great, just subscribe.
Oh, thank you so much, Zane. So, and guys, I notice my YouTube followers, you like to keep it to yourself. Share me with others, please. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues, please remember to share, like, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. So big up yourself, Zane, and big up to all of our early subscribers. Big up yourself, guys. Thank you so much for subscribing and always for following the Nextinfood.
Tony says, absolutely. Impressive 85 says, Chef, I only tell friends because I know it will help the channel, but deep down I don't like to share my chef and her skills.
I know, but share so we can build up the community a little bit more on YouTube to create these contents, it costs money, so we say in return, like and share and subscribe so that we can build up our following, because we want to share our love of food with you. I want to encourage everybody to make fabulous food at home. It doesn't need to be difficult. It's not complicated. Eat with your families, eat with your friends, and create that lifelong bond, because guess what? Cooking is an act of love. It's such hard work, you only do it out of love.
Melly said, what beverage do you normally have with Sunday dinner? Do you make fresh fruit juices off camera?
Depends. Most of the time, my husband is a water drinking guy. I'm a coconut drinker. When I'm not drinking coconut water, I drink a lot of these things. I love these sparkling fruit juice, so this is what I drink also. But we mostly drink water. We don't make a lot of fruit juice in the mornings. We do a lot of smoothies, fruit smoothies.
Okay. Kedira says yeah. Chelsea says I share with my friend the recipe, very simple.
Thank you guys. So I have some extra custard. So while I wait, I'm just going to put the extra creme brulee, well, cream cheese creme brulee in these cups and just bake them off, maybe about 3 while we wait. So I can't wait to show you guys what our Lobster Thermador mac and cheese with the bread on top is going to be looking like. But in the meantime,
Janet Bedford, let's eat.
Yes, Janet, in short order. Dessert is ready, so you guys can feast your eyes on dessert. And so guys, how simple was that dessert? This dessert is literally less than half of the 8-ounce pack of cream cheese, 1 small box of milk, and that's whole milk, 3 eggs, a little bit of sugar, and in my case I added a little bit of ginger, and you just put it into an oven-proof dish, put it in a water bath, and just bake it off.
Zane,
and dessert is ready.
Zane says food is a difference on a Sunday. I love trying new food and as a traditionalist.
Yes, we like to try. Well, with you, Zane, at least once a week, you try something new. Take the same ingredients and just put some different spice on it. That's the best way to have your food in a new way.
Yeah, Tony says yeah, extra for us.
Okay, the bread on top of the mac and cheese is smelling amazing. Amazing, amazing. So, we have some extra custard. Just gonna put them in my ramekin. These are gonna take a little bit longer to bake because the container is deeper. And so let me just tell you again, my tip, when I'm making custard and I want it done in 15 minutes, I prefer to use a 1/2 inch deep container. So these are my container of choice for creme brulees, flans, or in this instant, my cream cheese creme brulee. So this will always bake at 325, 15 minutes top in water bath. And to get the baking going, I prefer to add hot water to the pan. Now if you add cold water, what it's going to do is going to slow the temperature down, and then you have to wait till the water heats up. But when you add hot water, there's no delay. It just gets in there and it just starts cooking right away. So that's my tip for you. These will bake a little bit longer because as you can see, this is about 2.5 inch deep, but that's fine. So that will take about 25 minutes. Okay. And also, another little tip, Whenever you're making a custard, you want to remove it while the center is still jiggly. So you don't want to remove it when the center is firm, because there is something that is called carryover cooking. And so carryover cooking just simply means that food continue to cook when you remove it from direct heat until it cools down to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we always give some allowance for carryover cooking. So I'm going to put my extra custard in. My water is still very warm. I'm going to pour this in. So it's 2 of them, I can easily balance. And I'm going to take it to my oven. And the bread is looking lovely. So when you're baking a mac and cheese, how do you know when it is ready? When it starts to bubble around the edges, that's when you know it is ready. So we really have to wait on this one. So guys, I want to thank you so much, so much for joining us this evening. Thank you for staying in, and for those of you who just look in, thank you too for looking in. Thanks to those who are watching on Facebook as usual, and for those of you who are watching on Instagram. So we are going to end the live, and we may come back on to show you what the finished product looks like. All right, this is taking a little bit longer, so we are going to get off and then come back on and just show you what the finished mac and thermador, lobster thermador mac and cheese looks like. So take your last look.